really do. He's 94. And he's got. Pretty nasty picture. I'd take a picture of it if you want me to. Well, I never have. Okay. Well, good evening and welcome to the Bullitt County Fiscal Court. Today is December the 5th of 2023. And I'd like to welcome you all to one of 4 night courts we're going to be having this coming year in 2024. So you might want to check the asterisks on our Facebook page and the Bullitt County Fiscal Court page itself. Make sure that you have the right date and times for them. And at this time, I would like to have Pastor Miller come up and lead us in an invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let's pray. Father, we just thank you for this time that we can come together, Lord, as a community. And Lord, I pray that you bless those on this panel, Lord, that you give them wisdom. I pray that you give wisdom to all the leaders in our communities, Lord God. And Father, I pray that you bless our community, help us to prosper. And Lord God, most of all, I pray that you help us in this Christmas season, Lord, to be compassionate towards others and those less fortunate, Lord. And Father, we just thank you and we give you praise in your precious name, Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Pastor Miller. At this time, Sam, if you would call the roll to bring the court to order on December the 5th.
Vera Sanders.
Present.
John Logston.
Yes.
Karen Johnson.
Here.
Brian Weimel.
Yes.
Judge Summers.
Yes.
All present.
Yes, thank you, Sam. Treasurer's transfer report, Canan.
Yes, Judge, and on that transfer report, the dates included November the 28th, November the 30th, and also December the 5th for your approval.
I'll put it in the form of a motion that we accept the treasurer's transfer report as presented.
Second.
Got a motion by 2nd District Magistrate Logston, a second by 4th District Magistrate Blingmore, to approve the treasurer's transfer report as presented. Sam, call the roll, please.
Logston.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Weimel.
Yes.
Judge Summers.
Yes,
Sanders.
Yes.
Motion carried.
thank you. Thank you, Canan. The presentation and approval of all bills.
I'll make a motion that we approve them as presented.
Second.
Got a motion by 3rd District Magistrate Johnson, a second by 4th District Magistrate Blingmore to approve the bills as presented. Sam, call the roll, please.
Johnson.
Yes.
Weimel.
Yes.
Judge Summers.
Yes,
Sanders.
Yes.
Logston.
Yes.
Motion carried.
thank you. Approval of the minutes for the November 21st, 2023 meeting of the Bullitt County Fiscal Court.
I make a motion to approve the minutes for November the 21st, 2023.
Second.
Got a motion by 1st District Magistrate Sanders, a second by 2nd District Magistrate Logston to approve the minutes of the Bullitt County Fiscal Court, November 21 of 2023. Sam, call the roll, please.
Weimel.
Yes.
Judge Summers.
Yes,
Sanders.
Yes.
Logston.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Motion carried.
thank you. We do have some sign-in speakers. Elizabeth Happensbury from Old Henry Avenue.
Good evening.
Good evening, Elizabeth.
Thank you for allowing me to speak. My last name is Hargesheimer.
Hargesheimer. There you go. Gotcha.
I was sort of laughing inside, wondering how you were going to say that.
Okay.
I am 72 years old, and this is the first time I have spoken at former Jefferson County resident and now Bullitt County resident, that I've spoken in front of a group like this, and I appreciate you allowing me to do so. I also want to apologize. I live in Brooks. I've lived in my own little cocoon, and everything has been wonderful up until just a few weeks ago. And I felt the bottom drop out of my life. I've got more questions tonight, and I'm sure I'm not going to get many answers, but I would like to get answers in the future. My first concern is there has been a lot at the corner of Brooks Hill Road and North Sanders Lane that has been cleared and gravelled. I heard rumor that it was going to be a concrete truck repair plant. By the way, I'm taking tickets for people to guess how long it's going to take a concrete truck to turn over on that corner, because it's a very deep, steep corner. Not long. It really isn't. It is a severe danger. But I have a 24-foot motorhome, and I know how slow I have to go, and it's not near as top-heavy as one of those concrete trucks. For years, my husband drove a concrete truck. I know how those things operate. What are the road improvements for all of these heavy trucks, these warehouses, these semi-trucks that, how many times, once a week, do we have a semi-truck either run over or into the ditch there at the corner of 1020 and Brooks Hill Road? When is one of those trucks going to turn over on someone? Again, my husband was a truck driver. I know how those things operate. I was lucky to meet my representative tonight for the first time, so that takes care of the next question. There is a ditch for, I assume, Bullitt Creek that runs behind my house that is pretty much clogged up. And because, as kids will be kids, they played on the culvert coming off the railroad track, and a lot of that big slag rock that holds that into place has been knocked down. And it just swirls down there, and every time we have a big rain, it floods up into my backyard, and I just wonder, okay, when am I going to get a boxcar in my bedroom? So I'd like for somebody to come look at that, if they could. And I know my neighbors, the Farrs, that used to live there, had expressed this concern before. I have stopped the railroad company, trucks that have been out there, and asked them to look at it. It's still the same. When we put in sewer lines, we were led to believe, as people added on to that sewer line, that part of that debt would be alleviated and we wouldn't have to pay quite as long on the overall debt. I don't know if that was true or not, but if somebody could check into that and let me know. Not all of my neighbors hooked to the sewer line, and I understand that, but if I could just have some information, I'd appreciate it. With all of this construction, like this concrete truck place, washout place that they're going to have, a repair shop they're going to have, what's that going to do to my property values? I'm locked into a 3% mortgage rate. There's no way I could sell my house and be able to buy something else. I'm 72 years old. I don't want to work until I'm 90. And I don't want another, I could sell my house, but if I had to finance again, my house payment would double. I shouldn't have to, at 72 years old, do that because somebody wants to put a concrete pumping clean-out truck receptacle at my corner. And I'm just curious, how would you all feel if that ended up in your front yard or your backyard? Mm-hmm. The other thing is the dumping at the top of Brooks Hill that has been going on for as long as probably I am old. We saw what the fires did due to the strip mining in eastern Kentucky. We have heard about the slurry ponds that the dams have broken and wiped out neighborhoods and communities. Is this what we have to look forward to at the bottom of the hill? Is this what we have to look forward to? What about the toxic chemicals from whatever they're dumping? I'm sure it's not chocolate pudding. What's it going to do? Because there's many people around me that still live on wells. What is it doing to their well water? Most of the wells are contaminated, I understand, but do we really need to make it worse? Do we really, really need to compound that and make it worse? So I'm going to close with something that I told a company years ago when they told me I did something I didn't do. Just remember, we all reap what we sow. So be careful what you're sowing, because one day you may reap it. Miss Karma has a way of paying back. Thank you.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
Thank you.
Wayne Michaels?
To make this as short as possible, we were just wondering what was going on with the S&S Concrete. They were supposed to remove all the debris and everything up there, and it looks like it's just getting bigger because they keep dumping more and more still there. And I mean, I work at 2 o'clock in the morning, sometimes 4 o'clock in the morning. I can hear them banging that time of morning. They shouldn't be doing that in the first place. And we just want to know what the recourse is, what we need to do, and do we need to go higher up? I mean, I'm not threatening nobody here, but I just want to know what we need to do just to get it sped up a little bit.
Right, and Wayne, to help you a little bit, we'll look into that and see what we can do and see where they're at with it and investigate to see what they're doing, because but the rock pile should be going down instead of going up.
But yeah, he's still dumping there. Yeah. Right.
Right, and
Yeah.
we will. We will stand on our commitment to that.
And I also had another question, because his name is no longer on the trucks anymore. It's went to somebody else. He sold some other property. I don't know who owns. Does he still own the place? Because do you know? Does anybody know? Because his name is not on the truck. And got a funny mic here, but.
Well, we'll fix it, Wayne. Don't worry about it.
But his name's not on the truck. I'm just wondering what he's liquidating everything, or what's going on, because we talked to somebody that was working for MSD, and they said, well, he lost the contract with MSD because he's going out of business. So we're just trying to figure out what's going on.
Sure, we'll look into that and see what we can come up with. There's privacy acts too. We ran into that with,
Right.
and I'm going to say other opportunities on tangible taxes in this county.
Right.
So we'll do what we can do
Right.
to answer your questions.
And really, the only other point I have is, like, if I was doing that in my backyard, just say I could do this. I mean, there's a million tires in the creek that people dump there. If I just threw them in my backyard and started burning them, I guarantee you that day I would be fined, and I'd be fined a hell of a lot harder than he has for burning that stuff. And it's just like, why does he have more power than I have?
We understand.
Okay. I'm just letting you know what's up, but.
Thank you, Wayne, Pat, Jim, all of you who's here.
Anything else, anybody?
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Wayne. Robin, Gilbert?
Gilback is my last name, but I'm here about semis too, but I'm concerned about the semis resting on the side of the expressway, on the entrances and exits of Brooks and 480. Every morning, I'm scared to get off the exit because I have had an incident where they pull out and I'm coming off the exit. It's every day. Is our entrances and exits a parking for free for the semis to sleep? Because when semis go off the side of the expressway, they're supposed to have little cones. That's the only reason, if they're broken down. You know, they're gonna break me down or you down. It was on national news about this same instances of semis parking on the side, taking their naps and resting. Is there anything that you all are looking into doing to stop that? It says no parking. Isn't it a fine for a semi to park on the entrance of a ramp? I mean, you're a police officer, is it not a fine
It depends upon what the purpose of the parking is.
for a nap?
I don't know that they're napping.
Do you all check when there's 5 or 6 of them all the way up the ramp?
Generally
Are they
speaking,
exit?
I'm not having my guys stop and climb up on the tractors.
So when they pull out in front of me and I'm exiting a 70 mile an hour expressway, I'm exiting, and they pull out at 2 miles an hour, what am I supposed to do? Slam in the back of them and let the semi come and smash me from behind? Because that's almost what happened the other day. Our safety of our people not a concern? I would think we would be concerned about that. Are we not?
I don't think it's our responsibility as a fiscal court to
Whose
be.
responsibility is it
I
then?
mean, that's a interstate, I don't know that we have any jurisdiction at all over it. It's never crossed my mind to be a magistrate in District Two and concerned about semis parked on an exit ramp.
Fiscal court would have no.
No, I wouldn't think.
Who would you speak to about that? Should I call the police department every day?
The Kentucky Department of Transportation
Yeah.
and the Kentucky
State
Vehicle
Police.
Enforcement Office, they have people that are assigned specifically to patrol the interstate highway.
So that would be this,
KBE, the Kentucky State Police, you can reach out to them.
so when I run into them, you're gonna come rescue me, right? Out of the truck wreck? Because that's what I'm concerned about, is my grandkids and me and my family. Every time I get off the expressway and there's a semi sitting there. Okay,
Thanks, Robin.
thanks.
Mitch Keller, or do you want to speak when we do we're going to do first readings? And I always do a for and against on each one, if you would wait till then. Is that fair enough? Thank you, sir. Okay, Charlie, first reading and public hearing is zoning ordinance 23-43. Lucas, of course, yeah.
Planning docket 2023 Z57, Lucas LaCourcier, seeking to rezone from conservation to R1, located at 1160 Woodsdale Road, listed as PVA map 080-000-00-020C. 1.9 acres more or less, and the purpose is to transfer to his father for construction of a home. Bullitt County Planning Commission, pursuant to provisions of KRS 100.211, held a public hearing concerning the application on November 9th, 2023. Based upon the testimony of the applicants and their proponents, the Planning Commission finds that the map amendment is in agreement with the community's comprehensive plan and adjoining properties are the same zone. Because of the testimony received at the public hearing, the Planning Commission recommends this requested zoning change be approved and sends a favorable recommendation to the Bullitt County Fiscal Court.
Commonwealth of Kentucky, County of Bullitt, zoning ordinance number 23-43. An ordinance relating to the changing of zoning of certain property from conservation to R1 residential. The property in question is 1.9 acres, more or less, located at 1160 Woodsdale Road, parcel number 080-000-00-020C in an unincorporated area of the county. Whereas the Fiscal Court of Bullitt County has considered the evidence of the public hearing held by the Joint Planning Commission and the recommendations of the Commission, the information provided in the staff report of the Office of Bullitt County Planning and Zoning, and the testimony and evidence presented at the public hearing held by the Fiscal Court, and whereas the Fiscal Court concurs in and adopts the reasons of the Joint Planning Commission for said zoning change, and approves and accepts the recommendations of the Planning Commission in this matter as set out in said minutes, and determines that the proposed zoning change is acceptable and should be approved. Now therefore be it ordained by the Fiscal Court of County of Bullitt, Commonwealth of Kentucky, Section 1, that the above property located in the unincorporated area of Bullitt County, and more particularly described in the minutes and records of the Planning Commission in docket number 2023Z-57, is hereby changed from conservation to R1 residential. Section 2, this ordinance shall take effect upon passage and publication as required by law. Section 3, should any section, provision, or part of this ordinance be declared unconstitutional or invalid for any reason by a court of competent jurisdiction, then the remainder of this ordinance shall not be affected and shall remain in full force and effect. Section 4, all ordinances and resolutions to the extent they are inconsistent herewith are hereby repealed. Given first reading and public hearing at a regular meeting of the Bullitt County Fiscal Court on the 5th day of December 2023, to be given second reading at a regular meeting of the Bullitt County Fiscal Court on the 19th day of December 2023.
Thank you, Tammy. Anyone here to speak for zoning ordinance 2023-Z-57? Anyone here to speak against zoning ordinance 2023-Z-57? Hearing or seeing none, thank you. Charlie, 2023-Z-61. Dino Agave.
Planning docket 2023 Z61, Dino Agovic, seeking to rezone from R1 to B1, located at 205 Old Preston Highway North, listed as PVA map 043-SE0-16-001. 1.05 acres more or less, purpose of car sales. Comprehensive plan calls for low density residential. The Bullitt County Planning Commission, pursuant to provisions of KRS 100.211, held a public hearing concerning the application on November 9th, 2023. Based upon the testimony of the applicant and/or proponents, the Bullitt County Planning Commission finds the map amendment is not in agreement with the community's comprehensive plan. However, commercial properties are across the street. Following restrictions were added. All cars that sit out front must be ready for sale, and damaged vehicles must be stored in the rear. And there shall be fencing to block cars waiting for repair from view in the front. Based on the testimony received, the Bullitt County Planning Commission recommends this requested zoning change be approved and sends a favorable recommendation to Bullitt County Fiscal Court.
Thank you, Charlie. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Tammy, go ahead.
Commonwealth of Kentucky, County of Bullitt, zoning ordinance number 23-44. An ordinance relating to the changing of zoning of certain property from R1 residential to B1 highway business. The property in question is 1.05 acres more or less, located at 205 Old Preston Highway North, parcel number 043-SE0-16-001 in an unincorporated area of the county. Whereas the Fiscal Court of Bullitt County has considered the evidence of the public hearing held by the Joint Planning Commission and the recommendations of the Commission, the information provided in the staff report of the Office of Bullitt County Planning and Zoning, and the testimony and evidence presented at the public hearing held by the Fiscal Court, and whereas the Fiscal Court concurs in and adopts the reasons of the Joint Planning Commission for said zoning change and approves and accepts the recommendations of the Planning Commission in this matter as set out in said minutes, and determines that the proposed zoning change is acceptable and should be approved. Now therefore be it ordained by the Fiscal Court of County of Bullitt, Commonwealth of Kentucky, Section 1, that the above property located in the unincorporated area of Bullitt County, and more particularly described in the minutes and records of the Planning Commission in docket number 2023Z-61, is hereby changed from R1 residential to B1 highway business. Section 2, this ordinance shall take effect upon passage and publication as required by law. Section 3, should any section, provision, or part of this ordinance be declared unconstitutional or invalid for any reason by a court of competent jurisdiction, then the remainder of this ordinance shall not be affected and shall remain in full force and effect. Section 4, all ordinances and resolutions to the extent they are inconsistent herewith are hereby repealed. Given first reading and public hearing at a regular meeting of the Bullitt County Fiscal Court on the 5th day of December 2023, to be given second reading at a regular meeting of the Bullitt County Fiscal Court on the 19th day of December 2023.
Thank you, Tammy. Anyone here to speak for zoning ordinance 2023Z-61? Hearing or seeing none. Anyone here to speak against zoning ordinance 23-Z-61? Okay, Mr. Keller?
My name is Mitch Keller. I live next door to the 205 Old Preston Highway North. This property is residential property on the residential side of Old Preston Highway. Across the street, true, is some commercial. That's in Pioneer Village. We're in an unincorporated part of Bullitt County. The property I'm questioning here is, this is rental property. At the meeting, at the rezoning meeting, the gentleman made it sound like they were going to run the business, or that he was going to work on cars, he was going to sell cars there. In reality, it's a rental. It's a residential house with a building on it, concrete block building. How can you have residential on B1, R1 on B1? They rented the house. As far as I know, they've never lived in this house. They've never worked out of this building. They've always rented this building. It's currently under a contract, according to the minutes, till February of next year. He has it rented out. So is this business building, or is this a home with a house on this business property? Are you going to have a person living in a house as a home and then a business also on the same property? I don't know the zoning laws and everything, but I don't understand how you can have a residential home on business property or rezone it to that from R1 to B1. Mm-hmm. And the thing, the planning and zoning board, nothing against nobody, they didn't exactly quite know where the property was. They questioned each other like, oh, well, it's down so-and-so. So I don't understand how you can rezone when you're not 100% sure exactly what you're rezoning. Where it's exactly at in our county. Before you can say, oh yeah, let's do it. Yeah, I remember where that's at. I don't understand how that should be done like that. Like I say, it's a rental thing. The reason I know it's rental because August of 2015, Bullitt County Child Protective Services came to my house looking for the lady that lived there. And then 6 months or so later, I found another card stuck in my door they were looking for. And then after that, there was another one. And then I think they may have moved out in 22. Since then, they've rented probably 6 different businesses have been in and out of this building there. Trash, old tires, things thrown over, the fence, things like that over on my park, stuff that blows over. We are on, and if you know the property where I'm talking, it's residential, it's farmland. We are in a conservation district. I'm in one. Property surrounding me we're all connected in a conservation district. There's no facilities in this building. This building, as far as I know, has never had water in it, has no plumbing, has no septic system. I'd like to question where the septic system is for this building. Be properly under ordinance to switch it from R1 to B1. Does this building have its own septic system separate from the home? Okay. And at one time, because I've lived here my whole life, next to this place was my grandparents. It's mine. It's going on through the family. We've had it 75 years now, roughly. So I grew up next door to the place. I knew what it was. Back in the 60s, it was a Sinclair gas station. Because I used to walk down there, crawl through the fence, go get me a pack of chewing gum. Are the fuel tanks still on the ground here? That's another thing I question. Does it still have gasoline tanks in the ground at this property? Are they contaminating? Where do they run the water off here, which runs right straight to the creek? Where's all this coming off of, all this runoff from this building? If it's going to be turning commercial, is all this runoff going to run into the creek and pollute my creek, which I already got enough pollution coming from Hillview down in the creek where I got so much slime growing in the creek, it's unreal now. So you can't even walk in it because of the stuff growing in it. And they suggested a fence and stuff around it. I'd like to know what type of fence they plan on putting up, how high. Are we going to maintain it? How far off property lines this fence has to be? And I've not got much information about some of this.
What are they currently using the property for now, you said?
Currently right now, what's there, they say it's an auto sales, but there's not a car on the lot with for sale or how much or anything on it. Currently what it is, they are rebuilding wrecks, salvage vehicles, because all of them have little stickers on them, and you got pictures of them. It says this vehicle is not for sale on the windows. Any damage of the car is pulled in. If it's front end damage, it's pulled in where the back ends look good. If it's rear end damage, they back them in. At the zoning meeting, they had about a dozen cars out back and about a dozen up front. Now there's probably 5 or 6 up front. I don't know how many's out. So they've moved them around. But it's not an auto sales. I've never seen a car for sale on the lot. So ever since they've been there, I guess since February that they've rented this out. There's never been a car there I've seen with a for sale sign on it. And they're rebuilding. It's a wreck rebuilding place. It's a body shop. That's what it basically is.
All right. Well, we appreciate your comments, and thanks for coming in, Mr. Keller.
Okay.
And we'll go out and look at this, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. First reading, public hearing is zoning ordinance 23-45. Samuel Cundiff.
Planning docket 2023 Z62, Samuel Cundiff, seeking to rezone from R1 to agricultural, located at 5196 Beach Grove Road, listed as PVA map 029-000-00-063B, 1.0 acres more or less, and purpose is to join to existing ag property for a total of 25.6 acres. The Bullitt County Planning Commission pursuant to provisions of KRS 100.211 held a public hearing on the application on November 9th, 2023. Based upon the testimony at the hearing, the Bullitt County Planning Commission finds the map amendment is in agreement with the community's comprehensive plan. Because of the testimony received at the hearing, the Bullitt County Planning Commission recommends the requested zoning change be approved and sends a favorable recommendation to Bullitt County Fiscal Court.
Commonwealth of Kentucky, County of Bullitt, zoning ordinance number 23-45. An ordinance relating to the changing of zoning of certain property from R1 residential to agricultural. The property in question is 1.0 acres more or less, located at 5196 Beech Grove Road, parcel number 029-000-00-063B in an unincorporated area of the county. Whereas the Fiscal Court of Bullitt County has considered the evidence of the public hearing held by the Joint Planning Commission and the recommendations of the Commission, the information provided in the staff report of the Office of Bullitt County Planning and Zoning, and the testimony and evidence presented at the public hearing held by the Fiscal Court, and whereas the Fiscal Court concurs in and adopts the reasons of the Joint Planning Commission for said zoning change, and approves and accepts the recommendations of the Planning Commission in this matter as set out in said minutes, and determines that the proposed zoning change is acceptable and should be approved. Now therefore be it ordained by the Fiscal Court of County of Bullitt, Commonwealth of Kentucky, Section 1, that the above property located in the unincorporated area of Bullitt County, and more particularly described in the minutes and records of the Planning Commission and docket number 2023Z-62, is hereby changed from R1 residential to agricultural. Section 2, this ordinance shall take effect upon passage and publication as required by law. Section 3, should any section, provision, or part of this ordinance be declared unconstitutional or invalid for any reason by a court of competent jurisdiction, then the remainder of this ordinance shall not be affected and shall remain in full force and effect. Section 4, all ordinances and resolutions to the extent they are inconsistent herewith are hereby repealed. Given first reading and public hearing at a regular meeting of the Bullitt County Fiscal Court on the 5th day of December 2023, to be given second reading at a regular meeting of the Bullitt County Fiscal Court on the 19th day of December 2023.
Thank you, Tammy. Anyone here to speak for zoning ordinance 2023Z-64? Samuel Cundiff. Anyone here to speak against zoning ordinance 2023Z-64? Samuel Cundiff. Thank you. First reading public hearing is zoning ordinance 2023-46. Samuel Cundiff.
Planning docket 2023Z64, Samuel Cundiff seeking to rezone agricultural to R1, located at 5160 Beech Grove Road, listed at PVA map 029-000-00-063, 1.337 acres more or less. And the purpose is to deed off that portion to his son. Bullitt County Planning Commission pursuant to provisions of KRS 100.211 held a public hearing on the application on November 9th, 2023. Based upon the testimony at the hearing, the Bullitt County Planning Commission finds the map amendment is in agreement with the community's comprehensive plan. Because of the testimony received, the Bullitt County Planning Commission recommends the requested zoning change be approved and sends a favorable recommendation to Bullitt County Fiscal Court.
Commonwealth of Kentucky, County of Bullitt, zoning ordinance number 23-46. An ordinance relating to the changing of zoning of certain property from agricultural to R1 residential. The property in question is 1.337 acres more or less, located at 5160 Beech Grove Road, parcel number 029-000-00-063 in an unincorporated area of the county. Whereas the Fiscal Court of Bullitt County has considered the evidence of the public hearing held by the Joint Planning Commission and the recommendations of the Commission, the information provided in the staff report of the Office of Bullitt County Planning and Zoning, and the testimony and evidence presented at the public hearing held by the Fiscal Court, and whereas the Fiscal Court concurs in and adopts the reasons of the Joint Planning Commission for said zoning change, and approves and accepts the recommendations of the Planning Commission in this matter as set out in said minutes, and determines that the proposed zoning change is acceptable and should be approved. Now therefore be it ordained by the Fiscal Court of County of Bullitt, Commonwealth of Kentucky, Section 1, that the above property located in the unincorporated area of Bullitt County, and more particularly described in the minutes and records of the Planning Commission and docket number 2023Z-64, is hereby changed from agricultural to R1 residential. Section 2, this ordinance shall take effect upon passage and publication as required by law. Section 3, should any section, provision, or part of this ordinance be declared unconstitutional or invalid for any reason by a court of competent jurisdiction, then the remainder of this ordinance shall not be affected and shall remain in full force and effect. Section 4, all ordinances and resolutions to the extent they are inconsistent herewith are hereby repealed. Given first reading and public hearing at a regular meeting of the Bullitt County Fiscal Court on the 5th day of December 2023, to be given second reading at a regular meeting of the Bullitt County Fiscal Court on the 19th day of December 2023.
Thank you. Excuse me. Thank you, Tammy. Anyone here to speak for zoning ordinance 23-46, Samuel Cundiff? Anyone here to speak against zoning ordinance 23-46, Samuel Cundiff? Hearing and seeing none. First reading and public hearing is zoning ordinance 23-47, Cornelius Weaver.
Planning docket 2023 Z66, Cornelius Weaver, seeking to rezone from B1 to R1, located at 2300 South Bardstown Road, listed as PVA map 083-000-00-003, 3.232 acres more or less. Purpose is to create 2 new tracks and build a single-family dwelling. Bullitt County Planning Commission, pursuant to provisions of KRS 100.211, held a public hearing on the application on November 9th, 2023. Based upon the testimony at the hearing, the Bullitt County Planning Commission finds the map amendment is in agreement with the community's comprehensive plan. Because of the testimony received, the Bullitt County Planning Commission recommends this requested zoning change be approved and sends a favorable recommendation to the Bullitt County Fiscal Court.
Commonwealth of Kentucky, County of Bullitt, zoning ordinance number 23-47. An ordinance relating to the changing of zoning of certain property from R1 residential to B1 highway business. The property in question is 1 acre, more or less, located at 2300 South Bardstown Road, parcel number 083-000-00-003 in an unincorporated area of the county. Whereas the Fiscal Court of Bullitt County has considered the evidence of the public hearing held by the Joint Planning Commission and the recommendations of the Commission, the information provided in the staff report of the Office of Bullitt County Planning and Zoning, and the testimony and evidence presented at the public hearing held by the Fiscal Court, and whereas the Fiscal Court concurs in and adopts the reasons of the Joint Planning Commission for said zoning change, and approves and accepts the recommendations of the Planning Commission in this matter as set out in said minutes, and determines that the proposed zoning change is acceptable and should be approved. Now therefore be it ordained by the Fiscal Court of County of Bullitt, Commonwealth of Kentucky, Section 1, that the above property located in the unincorporated area of Bullitt County, and more particularly described in the minutes and records of the Planning Commission in docket number 2023-Z-66, is hereby changed from R1 residential to B1 highway business. Section 2, this ordinance shall take effect upon passage and publication as required by law. Section 3, should any section, provision, or part of this ordinance be declared unconstitutional or invalid for any reason by a court of competent jurisdiction, then the remainder of this ordinance shall not be affected and shall remain in full force and effect. Section 4, all ordinances and resolutions to the extent they are inconsistent herewith are hereby repealed. Given first reading and public hearing at a regular meeting of the Bullitt County Fiscal Court on the 5th day of December 2023, to be given second reading at a regular meeting of the Bullitt County Fiscal Court on the 19th day of December 2023.
Thank you, Tammy. Excuse me. Anyone here to speak for zoning ordinance 23-47, Cornelius Weaver? Anyone here to speak against zoning ordinance 23-47, Cornelius Weaver? Hearing and seeing none, first reading, public hearing is zoning ordinance 23-48. Jesse and Karen Byers.
Planning docket 2023 Z67, Jesse and Karen Byers, seeking to rezone from ag nonconforming to R1, located at 6107 Highway 44 East, listed as PVA map 063-000-00-026, 5.8 acres more or less. The purpose is to create 2 lots. The Bullitt County Planning Commission, pursuant to provisions of KRS 100.211, held a public hearing on the application on November 9th, 2023. Based upon the testimony at the hearing, the Bullitt County Planning Commission finds the map amendment is in agreement with the community's comprehensive plan. Because of the testimony received, the Bullitt County Planning Commission recommends this requested zoning change be approved, sends a favorable recommendation to Bullitt County Fiscal Court.
Commonwealth of Kentucky, County of Bullitt, zoning ordinance number 23-48. An ordinance relating to the changing of zoning of certain property from agricultural nonconforming to R1 residential. The property in question is 5.8 acres more or less, located at 6107 Highway 44 East, parcel number 063-000-00-026 in an unincorporated area of the county. Whereas the Fiscal Court of Bullitt County has considered the evidence of the public hearing held by the Joint Planning Commission and the recommendations of the commission, the information provided in the staff report of the Office of Bullitt County Planning and Zoning, and the testimony and evidence presented at the public hearing held by the Fiscal Court, and whereas the Fiscal Court concurs in and adopts the reasons of the Joint Planning Commission for said zoning change, and approves and accepts the recommendations of the Planning Commission in this matter as set out in said minutes, and determines that the proposed zoning change is acceptable and should be approved. Now therefore be it ordained by the Fiscal Court of County of Bullitt, Commonwealth of Kentucky, Section 1, that the above property located in the unincorporated area of Bullitt County, and more particularly described in the minutes and records of the Planning Commission in docket number 2023Z-67, is hereby changed from agricultural nonconforming to R1 residential. Section 2, this ordinance shall take effect upon passage and publication as required by law. Section 3, should any section, provision, or part of this ordinance be declared unconstitutional or invalid for any reason by a court of competent jurisdiction, then the remainder of this ordinance shall not be affected and shall remain in full force and effect. Section 4, all ordinances and resolutions to the extent they are inconsistent herewith are hereby repealed. Given first reading and public hearing at a regular meeting of the Bullitt County Fiscal Court on the 5th day of December 2023, to be given second reading at a regular meeting of the Bullitt County Fiscal Court on the 19th day of December 2023.
Anyone here to speak for zoning ordinance 23-48, Jesse and Karen Byers? Anyone here to speak against zoning ordinance 23-48, Jesse and Karen Byers? Hearing or seeing none. Action item number 7, Caitlin Skaggs. She needs to go from a part-time EMT to a full-time EMT. The pay stays the same, effective 11/27/2023.
Second.
Got a second by Second District Magistrate Logston. Sam, call the roll, please.
Judge Summers?
Yes.
Sanders?
Yes.
Logston?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Gleamal?
Yes.
Motion carried.
You'll find in your packet the revenue bond for the sheriff's office, or for Walt itself.
I'll make a motion that we approve the revenue bond for the sheriff's office as presented.
Second.
Got a motion by Second District Magistrate Logston, a second by Fourth District Magistrate Gleamal, to approve the sheriff's revenue bond as presented. Sam, call the roll, please.
Sanders?
Yes.
Logston?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Gleamal?
Yes.
Judge Summers?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. I'd like to have an appointment for Rachel Hurt for the Bullitt County Library Board of Trustees, term expired 6/30/2025.
Second.
Got a second by Fourth District Magistrate Gleamal. Sam, call the roll, please.
Logston?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Gleamal?
Yes.
Judge Summers?
Yes.
Sanders?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. And, okay, at this time, so 7:10, we got time for some comments. We do something a little bit different this time, if you don't mind. The sheriff and the county attorney, we haven't ignored you over all the years, but every now and then we'd like to have some comments from y'all. You can, with brevity tonight, or we can take full time at the next meeting. It's up to y'all. Walt?
Judge, I want to thank everybody personally for the prayers and the good wishes that came my way after I suffered a pretty significant injury as a result of a wreck back in September. I'm on the mend. It's slower than I'd like, but it's coming along pretty good. And I'm confident that the good shape that I'm in and getting in is a result of folks' prayers. So again, I want to thank you for that. Secondly, I want to thank everybody for the support that you give to law enforcement in general and the Bullitt County Sheriff's Office in particular. And that's everybody here on the court, all the staff of the county, ranging from, just everybody that works with the county is very kind to us in the Sheriff's Office, and we very, very much appreciate it. And I want to thank Ms. Baker and all of her staff for the great support that we're getting over in court. Just thank
Okay, you're welcome, Walt. Tammy?
Thank you, Judge, and thank you, Sheriff, for those comments. I appreciate that very much, and we appreciate what your folks do every day on a daily basis also. I have Nathan Beatty here with me tonight. He's my Assistant County Attorney, and he's the Chief of our Criminal Division, so pleased to have him here with us tonight. I don't really have much either. Very thankful also for the support for our mental health court. We're working very hard to get that up and going. Our first court date will be January 17th on that, so we've been going and meeting with some other counties. We went to Fayette County last week and visited with their mental health court. We have an excellent program. So we're going to get on again. Judge Porter will be able to get on the Zoom with us again next week, I believe, to watch that again. So we're putting all of our preparations in place to get that going. So we're appreciative of the support and the funding that you have provided for that.
Thank you, Tammy. Brian, 4th District Magistrate?
So I don't really have a whole lot, just the weather is starting to change, so everybody kind of pay attention. Know that it's going to get a little colder and a little bit of liquid, or the roads a little treacherous. Just be careful out there. Our next meeting is actually a business meeting on the 14th, I think, so it'll be on Thursday.
Yes, on Thursday to pay bills. That's all.
That's all I've got.
Thank you, Brian.
I don't
Karen?
have much tonight either. I just hope everybody's enjoying the holiday season here that's among us. That you're able to spend some time with your family and your friends. Hope you're enjoying yourselves. Everything's going good here, I think.
Okay, thank you, Karen. Sean?
A couple things. I'm doing a toy drive this Saturday in cooperation with the Fish House in Shepherdsville from 11 to 1. So if anybody in the community wants to stop by, drop off a toy, we're doing this is our 6th year partnering with Paracot Springs for Bullitt County Christmas for Kids. And we've got probably going to have close to 250 this year. So it's almost going to be a record year, but this is our 6th year doing it. We lost one of our major sponsors, so we're scrambling for more toys. So if you know anybody out there looking for a place to donate, they all go to a great cause. They go to Paracot Springs. They host a big dinner. I don't really have to do a lot. Started this thing, and a lot of people jumped in and really made this thing really successful. So it kind of is a self-oiled machine now after 6 years, but the need's greater than ever. So we've got, I think about 250 we're going to cap out. That's the max that we can hold in that venue, and we're going to be right at that number. So the majority of those are kids and teenagers. So we're looking for more toys and gift cards. So I'm going to be out at the Fish House Bar and Grill, 11 to 1 on Saturday. If you know anybody who can drop off a toy, we'll take them over to Paracot. The event's next Thursday, and it's really a good deal. A lot of those underprivileged people get to come in to that event, sit down and get a real nice meal. Paracot Springs is decorated beautifully for Christmas, so we just kind of capitalize on them having the venue all decorated and sneak in there. The Grinch is there, Santa Claus is there, every kid walks away with several toys, so it's a great event with the help of a lot of people in our community. But if you know anybody looking for places to donate toys or wanting help, this Saturday 11 to 1, Toy Drive, Fish House. The event will be next Thursday. But I just wanted to throw that out there. So I know there's people still looking for ways to help, so we still need some help.
Okay, thank you, Sean. Vera?
I'd just like to thank all those that came out tonight for our first meeting at 6 o'clock, our night meeting. Appreciate y'all coming. Appreciate seeing Mr. Parsley out tonight. I haven't seen you for a long time. It's good to see you out. Other than that, that's all I've got to say.
Thank you, Vera.
I've got one thing real quick. I love I don't know who necessarily made that decision, but I love the Christmas tree out front. I really do. I love that. I think that's a great new tradition. Seeing people put ornaments on there and seeing it on Facebook and stuff and the decorations. Is that Kay's idea? I think that's a wonderful, wonderful idea, and I hope that's a tradition that stays, particularly as long as I'm here. But I mean, I love to see that. That's really nice. So thank you. Yeah, but thanks for that idea, and it really looks good out front. So if you haven't had a chance to see it before you leave today, walk around in front of the courthouse. It's all lit up unless they pulled the plug on it, but still lit up, Kay. It looks really nice out there. So thanks to everybody, our road department and everybody else, all the employees and stuff that made that happen. It looks really nice. I know it's festive.
Good. Yes, it is nice. Thank you, Sean. And I guess Santa's out and about everywhere, so you might want to get on the different fire departments' Facebook pages and you can see exactly where Santa's going to be each night. Again, I want to thank Paul for being here tonight. It's good to see you again. It's been a little while. Teresa, Preston, and if you could stay after school for just a few minutes, I'd like to chat with you, if you don't mind. So this is where we're at, and we're going to look at what's going on with S&S out there as well. And we'll do what we can by law, because businesses have a certain right to privacy. I've learned that dealing with the tangible tax here in Bullitt County of what folks have inside of their buildings and what we tax. So I want to wish every one of you all a very Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, and support the local paper. You'll find some really interesting shopping experiences and events that's going on in the community if you look at the Pioneer News or our Facebook page, and have a great holidays. Vera, what time is it?
Time is 7:20. It's time to adjourn.
Got a motion by First District Magistrate Sanders, a second by Second District Magistrate Logston to adjourn the Bullitt County Fiscal Court on December the 5th, 2023 at 7:20. Sam, call the roll, please.
Johnson?
Yes.
Blemo?
Yes.
Judge Summers?
Yes.
Sanders?